You use the term. I'm very familiar with the term billeted. For those in our community, that means housed. They're going to be housed by the girls from Methacton, and the coach from Methacton is Karen Flugfelder, whom I've known for some time. Through softball and also through lacrosse, and I'm sure you'll enjoy yourself. The level of lacrosse at Methacton is very good, and I'm sure you'll have a great game. It's going to be good training for your girls when you go back to Canada.
Well, that's the experience that we're here for, and it is fabulous to see the sport so well developed on the Eastern Seaboard, and we're hoping for great things in our own region of Durham, which is providing several of the provincial level players that hope to go to the Nationals in '93.
We have, there's a Canadian that's right down in Philadelphia. Gail Cummings, I believe, is one of the coaches of Temple University.
She's a friend of Barb Boys, our coach. I recognize the name, yes.
Yeah, I understand she's going to again try out for the, I don't know, is she going out for the United States or is she going to go out for the Canadian national team?
Now, those are the kinds of questions you'll have to ask Barb. Okay. She knows the ins and outs of all that stuff.
All right, well, thank you very much for visiting with us. We appreciate it. Have a nice trip home and safe journey and lots of fun lacrosse and great weather. And watch that suntan. Okay, back to the game now. We have a free position here for the Canadian team. That's number 48, Sharon Grubb. All right, she's getting called for a crease violation, which means either her foot or her stick entered the crease, and the goalkeeper now will get a free position for a clear. All right, she gave it right back to the Canadian, right in front of the goal, and generally speaking, on a clear, the goalie should try to attempt to get a pass to the clear, to the side. All right, someone from Norristown should be cutting hard to her, run through the ball, pivot, and turn. And she didn't. She made like a half moon. All right, you can hear the coach, turn and pivot, turn and pivot. Right now she should be looking for someone. There's Nina Farrell wide open in the middle of the field. She missed her. She's carrying the ball down. Much too long of a ride. Much too long of a run. Now, she's being given a flag here because there was a player that entered her shooting space. All right, let me give you a rundown as to what the shooting space is. As you look at the goal, there is an angle from the player to the width of the goal cage, which is classified as her shooting space. If a player stands in that shooting space and not closely guarding her, then that is an infraction and she will be awarded an 8-meter shot. All right, we have a free position here that's being awarded to the United States team. Okay, I think we have a Canadian that's injured here that has to come off with possibly a little heat exhaustion. I'm looking for Mr. Flynn. Debbie, get down there. She's down there. Okay, we're getting Mr. Flynn for the Canadian person. As we said earlier, the heat is going to be a definite problem for them right now. Okay, we have a free position here for Norristown, and she was awarded that free position because her stick was held down. All right, good stop, goalkeeper, good stop. All right, we're looking for a clear, a short clear, preferably. All right, ground ball pickup, go to goal, Debbie Harbaugh. And shot Debbie Harbaugh, making the score now 13-5 in favor of Norristown. As you heard earlier, this is actually the first game that Ajax High School has been able to play, and they have a lot of kinks to work out just yet. So this is a good preliminary scrimmage for them. Norristown is using a lot of subs to... I think some of the subs are also on the JV level to keep fresh legs in there and also to try to keep the balance of the game going. Yes, it is a slight heat exhaustion problem here, and we have Mr. Flynn is taking a look at her now. Okay, we got Deb won the draw that time. All right, nice passing. That's what it should be. Pass, and shot. All right. Now Jeanette forced that a little bit. If she had gone, all right, nice shot, Kirsten Arner. The pass should have gone to Kirsten right away. Instead, Jeanette tried to force the ball a little bit, and she was wise when she did feel the pressure of the player to back out a little bit. Sometimes you can give what is called a back pass to an attack player that's high meaning high towards the center of the field. All right, the score now is Norristown 14, Ajax 5. This traveling team from Ajax High School will be leaving on Saturday to go home, and as you did hear, it is a 10-hour trip. And we wish them well in their travels and a lot of success. I understand they're going to be playing, as we said, Methacton High School, and I also understand they're going to be playing Jenkintown High School before they leave. They'll have 3 games. They will get a little bit of time to do some sightseeing. Okay, there was a lost ball by Gwen Roth there. All right, nice stick check by Laura Oberholzer. All right, Laura's hanging her cross out to the side. All right, now, also there was a bad pass there. Laura needed to give a leading pass, lead the player into a free space. Instead, she gave her a pass that was behind the girl. It's almost like giving a pass to someone on the football field and lead them into a nice pass to Nina Farrell. All right, Nina Farrell was wide open on that. It was just she and the goalie. All she had to do was pull the goalie to one side and then shoot in the opposite direction. All right, there is a good thing here, though. Nina did hustle to get her own, sort of like in basketball, rebound. In this case, she hustled behind goal to pick up the ball. Nice pass to Kirsten Arner in front of the goal, and shot and goal score by Kirsten. The score now is 15-5. It is not unnatural or uncommon in lacrosse to have high-scoring games. Of recent, I understand there was a score, and for the life of me, I don't know the teams. It was something like 20-5. So it isn't unnatural for a team to score 20 goals. Lacrosse is a very, very high-scoring game. Stands to reason the attack player knows exactly where they want to place the ball, and the goalie's just kind of standing back there and has to wait for the ball. Also, I think some of the current rules that have been instituted in the game of lacrosse makes it very, very difficult for the defense to really play defense. I think a lot of them were instituted when the molded head sticks came into the game because it was so difficult to get the ball out of the cross. People were starting to stand in front of the goal cage and almost forming a barricade. A lot of teams instituted what they call zones. As you've noticed, Norristown has been playing a strict man-to-man. There was a nice pickup by Debbie Harbaugh and also a nice shot by Debbie Harbaugh. She did not have anyone left or right to go to dump off, even though she did have 2 players, so that was a nice shot. Debbie has a good, hard, strong cradle, she is only a sophomore, so we look for more things to come out of her. Plus, she's also won the last 2 draws, which is good. All right, the score now is Norristown 16, Ajax High School from Ontario, Canada, 5. Excuse me, that is 16-5. Okay, we have a switch of players again. At any time, a coach can move a player anywhere on the field. You don't need a timeout for that. You don't need a stoppage of the clock or anything. All right, here's our first chance to see a repeat of a draw. The ball did not go completely above the girl's head. Okay, there's only 4 minutes left, I've been told, for the remainder of the half. Mr. Flynn, do we have a report on our injured player?
Just a little heat exhaustion, mild, but she'll be fine.
Okay, so sort of what we anticipated earlier.
Pretty much so.
Mr. Flynn, I understand you were involved at Syracuse University with the men's lacrosse team. Can you tell us just a little differences between the men's lacrosse game and the women's game?
Certainly. Obviously, the level of contact is much greater. I would consider this almost a contact sport, where that is a collision sport. And obviously you use a lot more padding and helmets and pretty much a lot of legal checking, where obviously there's not much of that in this game.
Is the field basically constructed the same way in the men's game as it is in the women's game?
Not really. There is you have 3 different positions, basically your defense, your middies, and your attacks. There's a 18-yard line and there's a crease, but there's none of this 8-yard line and 12-yard line like this game has.
Okay, we just had a score there by the Canadian team. As soon as we see her number, we'll give you her name.
You also can score from almost anywhere in men's lacrosse. You have to score from within the crease here?
No, you can score anywhere in the girls' game also.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of field.
Okay, that's number 30, Jen Hardy from Ajax High School. And the score now is Norristown 16 and Ajax 6. In men's lacrosse, you can hit each other with the sticks, right?
There are certain legal ways to check the stick and a little bit of body contact, but it's strictly enforced as far as how aggressive you can get with it.
Okay, I see we had another score quickly by the Canadian team. That was number 44, Sharon Cook, that scored. And the score now is Norristown 16 and Ajax High School 7. Okay, Mr. Flynn, does the boys' game start as the same way as the girls' game with a draw in the center like that?
Yes, well, except the draw is on the ground with the sticks back to back, and there's only the attacks are allowed in. Everyone else has to stay out of restraining line until the possession has been made.
All right, that's very similar to the girls' game because no one can go in that center draw area until the ball has drawn above the girl's head. So the men are down on the ground and the women are up in the air. Do the men play predominantly on grass, or are the fields like AstroTurf, or what?
I would say most of them are grass fields. As a matter of fact, when I was up there, we held the Final Four, as they're holding again this year. Most people don't like it because it's in the dome and it's on AstroTurf, which most of the other lacrosse teams don't really care for.
We didn't mention earlier when we were talking about the equipment and other parts of the game, we didn't mention the ball. What is the construction of a lacrosse ball?
Men's and women are the same. It's just a high-density rubber. I mean, it takes more strange bounce than any other ball you've ever seen.
Yeah, I've noticed that on the first bounce, the ball has a tendency to go high, but that each subsequent bounce, the ball seems to get lower and lower, thus gaining a little speed, almost like a super ball.
Exactly. It picks up a forward rotation, and on the second bounce, it'll come off on a much sharper angle. And then, like you said, subsequent ones pick up more or less speed in that specific manner.
All right, there was a nice stick check there by the Canadian team on Jeanette Debo, but Nina Farrell was right there to pick up the loose ground ball, and she scored, making the score now Norristown 17 and Ajax High School 7. Okay, there's probably about 2 minutes left to go before the conclusion of the game, and the Canadian team has gained possession. This is a newly built or constructed field here at Norristown. Our original field, which was across the creek on the other side of the school property, is now being used for for the construction of an elementary school. There is exactly 1 minute to go before the conclusion of the halftime. 1 minute to go. This field still needs a little bit of seating. Okay, there's a couple stick checks there of an empty stick. It is to the advantage of the player when you get into a group to make sure that your stick is down underneath. Okay, she should go hard to goal, and she needs to keep cradling there when she goes through a crowd of people that way. Okay, bad pass by Deb Harbaugh, but she really didn't have anyone that was cutting strong. Okay, there's a dangerous pass by the Canadian player, actually not even looking where she's passing the ball to. I think a little fatigue is setting in here and maybe even a little frustration. Nice pivot there. We're counting down here to the end of the game. We have 4, 3, 2, 1, and that's the conclusion of the game with the final score. Norristown Area High School 17 and Ajax High School from Ontario, Canada, number 7 points. I'm Carol Tompkins from Norristown Area High School. Thank you for being with us this afternoon, and stay tuned for further programs on this cable station.